it kind of looks like cocaine. Ooh, more neoprene. Some extra speed. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about gear. We talked about wetsuit, about neoprene, about how to get in and out. Let's talk about mask and snorkel. So every mask is different. There are tons of masks on the market, and you don't want to buy the one that I wear. You want to buy the one that fits you best. I'm just gonna take off the snorkel for a second so I can demonstrate that a little bit better. Oh, I didn't really put that on very well. So, mask. First of all, most important thing, don't have any facial hair under your mask or it's gonna leak. As freediver or spearfisher, we use low profile or low volume mask. It's not like a scuba mask. They are just bigger and have more volume inside. The reason for that is we are going down fast and we want to equalize our mask and we don't want any mask squeeze. So in order for your mask to fit, you want to be able to put it in your face, breathe in through your nose, create some suction, and make sure it stays where you put it. Like this, basically. So make sure you try on a lot of different masks and find the one that fits you well. This is one of the key spots where most masks press on your forehead, and you don't want to have any contact there or on your eyebrows. You also want to make sure that the nose pockets fit your nose well, that it's not too big or not too small, because you're going to be equalizing here in most cases. Yeah, I have this mask from Maris. It's called the X3. I'm super happy with this mask. I wouldn't want to change it. It's the first one I bought and I still love it. I would probably go for the same one again. Snorkel, this one is from Maris. It's called Pre-Flex. It's kind of flexible here, but not as much here. You don't want to have any like fancy snorkeling snorkels that have like a blowout valve or something, because it actually makes it harder to breathe, and you want to have the best airflow possible for your breathe up. And it doesn't have to be very long or anything. It's really just as simple as possible, basically. I really like this snorkel because it sits very like nice and snug around my head. Doesn't move around much. I can just put it under my chin here, put it back in. I don't know, I like the shape and style of this one. For the men out there. So for everybody that has a beard, this is Vaseline white petroleum jelly. So if you have a beard and your facial hair is going all the way up to your nose and you want to put your mask on, it's not going to create a proper seal. What you can do against it is put like a bunch of heaps of Vaseline on your beard, and that creates the seal. You really scoop in with 2 fingers, smear it under your nose. Paul, you want to demonstrate that? No. Let's talk about fins. So, fins, they come in different materials. When you get started, a plastic fin is fine. There are also different stiffness grades. I'll be honest with you, I don't know too much about what stiffness grade is good for you. It has to do with your body weight, with your shape, with your strength. And I just want to point out that it is really good to buy a fin right away that has a foot pocket where you can change the blade. So this one here, you could just unclip and then unscrew, and then you can slide the blade out and only have the pocket left. So at some point, if you want to upgrade to like a carbon fiber fin or whatever, you can keep your pocket and just exchange blades or change blades. I have the Maris razor right now. As I said, I can keep the pocket and just find a blade. It doesn't have to be necessarily from Maris. Those pockets are usually very similar from all brands, so you can switch the brand and have a blade from another brand in the pocket from Maris. That works fine. Next up is the Speargun. Again, it's really one of those topics where you want to make sure you get whatever is best for you, whatever works for you. I've been looking into spear guns for quite some time before I decided which one I would like. I think the Rob Allen Tuna is a very good beginner's spear gun. It's a good all-rounder. Like I can imagine myself using this for many years. But again, it really depends on what your preferences are. There are some features on spear guns that others don't have. There are different kinds of materials, different kinds of power, strength, length, and everything. There's a really big variety of spear guns, and I think it's gonna be way too much for this video to talk about everything in detail. Maybe I can do another video about different kinds of spear guns at some point. So let's just talk about the one I have right now. So this is the Rob Allen Tuna rail gun in 70 centimeters. In British Columbia waters, we like to use short spear guns because, especially in summer, the visibility is really bad. Also, the fish that we shoot here, they're not necessarily really big and strong, and so 70 or 80 centimeters is enough. It has an aluminum barrel, and Rob Allen, they make the same trigger mechanism for all their spear guns. Basically, just the barrel and the features in the front change from the different models they have. You can get the spear gun with two different kinds of muzzles. There's an open muzzle and a closed muzzle. I have tried both. I have the closed muzzle here and currently using the open muzzle. I personally prefer the open muzzle. At first I thought I would go with the closed muzzle because it just stops your spear from popping out basically, and as a beginner it really is a lot in the beginning to load your gun and to handle it, and I just thought this would help a lot. But I actually find the accuracy of my gun better when there's an open muzzle. And I was not struggling as much with the loading as I thought. So that's why I'm going with the open muzzle right now. I personally am not the biggest fan of the safety mechanism. I think it's kind of in a weird spot. I usually take a second hand to it to unlock it or to lock it. You want to make sure that you also rinse your spear gun in fresh water when you come back from a trip, and you want to make sure that you store your spear gun with the spear outside of the trigger mechanism, because some water can be trapped in there and it can do very big damage to your spear gun trigger. So you want to make sure you store them separately from each other. All of the parts on the spear gun, they can be replaced. It's actually not that tricky or not that difficult to replace the rubbers, the muzzle, all the rigging on your gun. This one comes with the little shark clips, very handy if you want to attach a float line to it. Yeah, I personally also mark 66 centimeters on my gun. That helps a lot with estimating the size. It can be very tricky underwater sometimes to tell if a fish is big or not. Okay, so we've talked about most of the gear already. Let's talk a little bit of a big safety factor, a dive float. So a dive float, they come in different shapes as well. I chose this one because the price was not too crazy, and I really like the setup of it. It has a little dive flag. You can collapse that and put that away. It has a little net here. I bought this little anchor for it extra because I don't attach my float line to my spear gun. So far I've only been shooting really small fish. It's not really necessary to have my spear gun attached to my float in that case. So I just use the float as storage and of course as safety. If you haven't seen my first video yet, I'll put it up here. I'm going out solo in that video and there's some boat traffic around that area. That's why I always want to bring my float so I'm seen by the boaters. That's why I just throw out the anchor and put it somewhere close to me, and I always dive around it basically. If I move, I just take it with me and choose another spot for the anchor. Here's the extra left over from my float line, and I attach some shark clips and carabiners to it so I can attach my gun and my other gear. And it comes with these rubber straps on the side. You can perfectly put one spear gun on each side. This is really everything you need to know about my dive float. I actually attached a little whistle to it as well. You never really know, if you really get into a shitty situation, might come in handy to have one. Yeah, continuing to talk about safety, I always bring a first aid kit and my Garmin InReach. First aid kit, the most important thing in there is a tourniquet. We are having a spear gun with us and a knife, and we're in waters with boats, so most of the injuries that you can get there are probably involving bleeding. So that's why it's really important to have a tourniquet with you. Yeah, my first aid kit is really basic. Other than that, I always have a little small micro towel, and I bring a face mask. Yeah, make sure you stay safe out there, guys. You never want to get into a situation and not have the right gear on you. My Garmin InReach is a little GPS device. You can send an SOS with it with your exact position. Especially in Canada, there's not always cell service, so it's a really handy thing. Highly recommend bringing one of these as well. So for when I go spearfishing, I always bring my net. If it's just small fish, I like to put it in there. Other than that, you can always harvest sea cucumber, crabs, mussels, clams, whatever you can find really, sea urchin. It's great to have one of these if you're going out for a harvest, just to collect everything, keep it in the bag. This is a stringer. I think this one is from Rob Allen as well. I attached that to my float. I don't really like to wear it around my weight belt because we have sea lions here, and honestly I'm a little bit scared that they would like the fish that I have around my waist and then accidentally bite into my leg. I think everybody that is diving in sharky waters probably has the same struggle. This is a crab caliper. This is always handy to have. I'm always looking for crabs. Crabs are delicious. And you want to make sure they're in legal size. And that they're male. Yeah, dive knives. Again, so many different products on the market. I really just went with one that is not the most crazy expensive one. This has this little mechanism where you just press this against towards each other and it comes out. It goes back in and it locks. This has these little straps. I usually wear it around my leg. The knife is not just for draining and bleeding your fish. It's obviously also a safety thing. If you ever get tangled in kelp force or in rope or a net or anything, this is gonna, or could be your lifesaver. Bean. So this is my dive light. I'll be honest with you, this is the super cheap $50 one from Amazon. Although I just recently bought this at East to West Freediving. This is a really handy thing for your hand. You just put your thumb around this and then go around and clip it in. Also works great with gloves. And it makes you have your hand free for like dealing with fish or your spear gun or whatever, and it's still attached to your hand and you can just point it wherever you want. It really, like I didn't use my dive light much before I had this glove because it was distracting me so much and I always didn't want to have it in my hand. You have to equalize and do this and that, and I just had it on my belt and really never used it that much. but this is actually a game changer for me. I really like this thing. And one of my last pieces of gear is my computer. This is my dive watch basically. It has a diving mode and a freediving mode. I've been using this for many years now. It's the Suunto D4i. I'm really happy with this product. Highly recommend it to anyone. I don't use it much when I go freediving. Sometimes I'm really just interested in knowing what depth I am at. You develop a feeling for depth and time the more you go freediving, but I just use it as like a backup and to double check if I'm right or if my feelings are right. Other than that, I usually use it after my dive. I just go through it and see how many dives have I done, how deep did I go, how was the average dive time and all that. Just to, you know, get a feeling for what could have been wrong that day. For example, if I'm cold, I can see that my dives are only like 35 seconds long. If I'm warm and comfortable and relaxed, then they're more like a minute. So yeah, it just helps a lot to analyze afterwards. So if you're going freediving, sometimes when we do shore dives, we have to hike a certain time to get to the good spots. In order to hike with this amount of gear, you want to have a good bag for that. It really fits all my gear. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but it's going in. All of it is going in there. It's a great bag. Just for demonstration purposes, this bag actually fits any kind of freediving fin. I think this is the main difference to like a normal backpack. The dive fins, they're going in all the way. You can easily attach a Speargun on the left or on the right or on both. I think this is the main difference. That's why I chose this bag. This is my weight belt. There's really not too much to say about it. This is the rubber one, as you want that rubber so it sticks better to your hips. A scuba diver is just constantly in this position and it's not moving that much. But when you are duck diving, all the force of the weight belt is going to go towards your head and the rubber is going to stop it from slipping in best case scenario. There are coated weights, those black ones, and there are the normal ones. I like the coated ones because the normal ones, they're sometimes very poorly made and they have like sharp edges and corners on them, so that would scratch my wetsuit basically. And they're a bit more, they're sliding around a bit more on the weight belt. The coated ones, they stay way better in the position where they're supposed to be. Then I also have this little D-ring attached to it with a carabiner if I have my net around my hip or anything. Yeah, this is about it. Oh, and the weights, they come in like 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound, 4 pound, 5 pound, like all different kinds, or if you're metric in kilos. Yeah, this is about it. It's about everything you can say to a wakeboard. It's really not that interesting. Whenever I get home from freediving or spearfishing, I'm really excited about what I've seen. And I'm one of these people that needs to know what kind of species it is. And to help me identify what I've seen while diving, I always have this book at home. This book, Marine Life on the Pacific Northwest, is great for IDing anything that you can find in the water here. You have pictures of everything with names and like little brief descriptions about them. It's not always easy to find what you've seen, but I always like to try, and I sometimes spend like an hour after my dive at home just like going through the book and looking for what I've seen. Yeah, it's really great, and whoever is interested in the kind of marine life that is creeping around out there in the different worlds, in the oceans, go get yourself one of these. Last but not least, I have my Yeti cooler here. I think it is very important the way you treat your fish after shooting it. It's not over once you shot it. It's really important to brain it and bleed it if you want to keep the quality of your fish as good as possible. And that involves cooling your fish on your way home. So I have this big Yeti cooler where I like to put my fish inside. I usually just keep it in the car this also comes very handy on boats. Yeah, you just fill it with ice and you're good to go. That's about it. That's all my gear. Again, I would like to point out that this is my personal preference. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I bought most of my gear at East to West Freediving in Victoria or at Diving Sports in Vancouver. They have great customer service and great knowledge. If you're looking to buy your whole set of gear, or you're looking into getting into spearfishing or anything, I would highly recommend going to one of the stores just to get into a conversation with somebody that knows a lot about it. Don't just go online and buy whatever you like from the looks of it or anything. I think it's really important to to talk about what would work best for you. And yeah, I am very happy with my kind of gear that I have at the moment with the setup. I looked a lot of YouTube videos too, videos like this with Spiros and freediving people where they load out their gear and explain a bunch of things to them. So I hope this might help one or another. Or maybe even like, I don't know, motivate you to get into spearfishing. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I hope this is a little bit helpful for one or the other. If you have any questions or any feedback, feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. Please subscribe and like if you like this video and if you would like to see more. I really appreciate everyone that has been watching my videos so far and has been commenting. It's great to get some positive feedbacks. And yeah, I'll see you guys out there.